Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews, you can find our band interviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I've been posting a lot of content as of recently, so if you do like any of this stuff you see, make sure to subscribe, hit that thumbs up. It really does go a long way in helping support the channel. But I'll also be posting a review of the Word Alive's newest record, Mania. It will probably be going out at the same time as this, so if you watch that one, this video might show up in the suggested. And I'll also be hopefully getting around to do reviews for Reflection's newest record, as well as this awesome local underground band called Seder. If you're into post-hardcore, you'll definitely dig them. But tonight, we're going to be talking about Polaris's newest record, The Death of Me. I want to give a massive shout outs to Adam Splitter PR, as well as Secret Service Publicity Group. They sent me this pretty early, and I always love getting early copies, and I wanted to show my gratitude towards it. So go give those people some love. They really do their damnedest to get it over to me and other people who do reviews early on. So go give them some love. But I've been a fan of this band for a pretty long time, way back into 2016 with their first EP, The Guilt and the Grief, as well as their first release under Sharp Tone, which was their 2017 release, The Mortal Coil. But this one was one that I had been anticipating for a very long time. I felt like they are just one of those bands that have been up and coming. They've been on some really good tours here in the States, and I know that they've done some insane headliner shows, not only in Europe, but also in their home states of or home country of Australia. So really good to see that these guys are on the uprising, and if you haven't given them a listen yet, please go do so. But we're going to go through each track, give you thoughts and your opinions on all of them. I'm going to give you a rating on the record, and so we're going to get right into it. So the first track is called Pray for Rain. I really dig this song a lot. I love the really clean reverby guitar part at the beginning. I think coupled with Jamie's screaming, it really cuts through the mix super well. And I also just feel like it starts the record off pretty well too. And I just like how it progressively builds and builds as the song continues on. But it doesn't really get into just that heavy thing that you know and love from Polaris until around the 1 minute and 30-second mark. That's when everything kind of starts to pick up. Ryan, Rick, Daniel, and Jake all kind of, you know, instrumentally pulled together, and they start working on the song. But I really love Ryan and Rick in terms of their guitar playing. I think that they really complement each other very well. The kind of like lead tappy parts, or like lead kind of like more lead stuff, I think that Ryan does a great job of kind of counteracting what Rick is doing, and Rick is doing a great job of kind of holding it down in that regard. I think Daniel brings a fluidity to the drums, not only in this track, but definitely a lot of the tracks off this record, if not all of them. Some of them are a little bit more subtle than others, but overall he does some really great job. And I really love Jake's clean screaming. I've always loved his clean singing throughout, you know, most of Polaris's discography. I don't think that he's really had particularly a bad song to me, but a lot of these songs I've really grown to love his voice, and I also feel like he's been able to expand upon what he's been able to do in previous records. So definitely appreciate that. I think this song is absolutely a super solid opener song. If you are a fan of Polaris, you will definitely dig this one a lot. Some great lead work, and just overall just a really wonderful track. So we're going to move into track number 2, which is Hypermania. This one is the I think the second single that they had released at the time. This one is just Riff City. Love it so much. It's one of those songs that I feel like every time I come on, like it just gets me in that like moshing mode mentality. Like I'll be in my car driving and people will be like freaking out, but it's just such a fantastically heavy song, and you can't help but just like want to move and have that excitement. So and I know that they had played it live when they were in the States, but I just feel like it's gonna hit a little bit differently when they come back to the States at some point, hopefully in this year. But Definitely one of the best ones. I also like that Jake offers some screaming. I believe I know that he was screaming partially in the music video, so I don't know if that really translated to the kind of like actual record or not. But if it is true, awesome. If it's not true, hopefully somebody will correct me so I don't look like a dumbass. But really just again aggressive song that just immediately when you put it on, it does not let up and it does not slow down. Probably my favorite part of the song is at the 1 minute and 35-second mark to around the 2 minute mark. That breakdown is super solid, and just the whole song in general is just a ripper. If you haven't listened to this one yet, I would highly recommend going to do so. If you just love just that in your face kind of heavy song. So we're going to move into track number 3, which is Masochist. This one was the first single that they released. I love the music video, and I will say I didn't really feel this song initially when they released the single. I didn't think it was particularly a bad song, but there was just something about it that just didn't click with me. But I think in the confines of the record, I think it fits so much better, and it's actually one of the songs that I've grown to love the most out of all the songs off the record. It kind of took me the longest to warm up to, but I feel like this one is probably some of their best material without a doubt. And I think it's one of the best, like well written, like well arranged, well organized tracks off the record as well. It is one that absolutely has grown on me, and I also feel like it's a very good representation of the record being kind of really heavy. It also has some really nice like softer melodic moments that kind of is backed up with some really awesome guitar parts, and the drumming sounds fantastic. The bass is just adds this fullness to it. Jake has some really great clean vocals. Jamie has some awesome screaming parts, and so I feel like it's just a really well-rounded track, and just the chorus itself is oh my god, every time that comes on, it is just one of the ones that I think is one of my favorite choruses off the record, and it just the level of catchiness is just impeccable. Definitely one to listen to. Again, it's one that's out now. I mean, all of the songs are out now at this point, but this one was one that I again absolutely enjoyed, and probably one of my favorite parts of the song in particular is at the 3 minutes and 45-second mark to the end. I don't know if they like drop tuned it a little bit, because I know that they have like drop tuned pedals, so I don't know if they drop tuned it at all, or if they just kind of went down to the 7 string and used kind of the same riffing, but again, that ending is super thick, like 2 C's thick. Really enjoyed it. Definitely one you should go give a listen to if you haven't already. So we're going to move into track number 4, which is Landmine. This is the most recent single. They also released a music video with it as well. And I think it is what its name is. It is an absolute landmine, appropriately named. But I feel like if you were a fan, if you are a fan of Hypermania, this one is just Hypermania but on steroids. It has more of a hardcore feel to it, which I really appreciate, because they did tour with bands like Varials, Chamber, Gideon, and that was a little bit ago, and I would imagine they would be writing material at around the same portion of time. I know Wage War, they went out with Wage War a few times, so you know, I like that they're pulling from different aspects of not only their style, because it does feel very Polaris-esque, but it does have that hardcore feel to it that, again, with the bands that they've toured with, it would make sense that they would kind of draw influence from that, and I think almost playing homage to the bands that they've toured with, it feels connected. I don't know if I'm reading into it a little bit too much, but it definitely feels that way in the terms of, you know, who they've toured with and the sounds that kind of come out of this song in particular. I like that Jake, in I think the first and only chorus of this song, he has this really nice raspy tone, and I feel like he doesn't really do it in future songs, so I would love to hear more of that, just because I think it adds another like texture, another layer to his, and another dimension to his vocals. That breakdown at around the 2 minutes and 8-second mark to around that 3 minutes and 40-second mark, super solid. Definitely one that I just hits. I love the solo from Ryan, starting at around the 2 minutes and 30-second marks to around the 3 minute mark, and then probably my favorite part, and most people have heard this part at this point, but the 3 minutes and 20 seconds to the end, the blast beats, I don't know. I just feel like, to me, like, as I'm talking about that one portion of the song, I can just envision people moshing in their house, or like moshing at a show or whatever. I can feel it internally. So definitely one of those songs that is, again, up there with the heaviest ones off this record, and rightfully so. So we're gonna move into track number 5, which is Vagabond. This one took me by surprise, and I also feel like this one will be a pretty big sleeper. I don't know if a lot of people will enjoy this. Not to say that it's kind of like out of their realm or anything, but it definitely has a different vibe to it, and I could understand why people don't enjoy. I could understand why people might not enjoy it, but this one absolutely grooves. I think Jake killed it on the cleans on this track. That chorus is still probably one of my favorite ones, and it's one of the most catchiest choruses I think they've written to date. I think stylistically it feels very different from what you would typically expect from them, and I think that's where the chorus really kind of shines. It's just something that is very kind of like major key, very happy. It's, kind of almost like it has this infectiousness that I just feel like is super underrated. It's got some awesome hooks. Like I said, Jake killed it. And it's definitely one of those sleeper songs that I feel like has that fun vibe to it, but is still very much playing into what they are and what they're known for. So it doesn't feel like it's like a cop out in any way. They really kind of vibed it out, and it's just super solid. I love the breakdown at the 2 minutes and 46 second mark to around the 3 minutes and 6 second mark. Absolutely monstrous, and I think they followed it up with an awesome solo from Ryan at around the 3 minutes and 50 second mark to around the 4 minutes and 15 second mark. Absolutely awesome. I think Ryan murdered that solo. Probably my favorite solo off the record, period. It's just so like rock and roll, and it's super tight. So definitely go give that one a listen, because it's out now. So we're gonna move into track number 6, which is Creatures of Habit. This is what you expect from Polaris. Like, if you went on and pulled on any Polaris song and this one came up, and the band, this is what you expect. It's a well-constructed metalcore song, instrumentally very solid. I think Jake and Jamie on vocal duties did a really excellent job. There really isn't too much, I guess, extra to say. I just feel like it's a really well-executed song, and probably my favorite part is around the 3 minutes and 50 second mark to the end. That's absolutely gnarly. Probably just, again, another sick breakdown. They really know how to keep it interesting. So we're gonna move into track number 7, which is Above My Head. This one is for all those progressive metalcore fans. Definitely very similar vibes, at least to me, of their EP, The Guilt and the Grief, and I think it just feels like an old school kind of Polaris B-side track, which is awesome. Another really fantastic chorus. I think it, again, superbly like executed. I think just the clean vocals from Jake are just super solid. They hit super well, and I like the kind of switch up at around the 1 minute and 30 second mark to around the 1 minute and 50 second mark. I think it is just well executed, and I think just the transition between the two is really just magical. I also love that the bridge kind of shows off more of the like beautifulness, the more melodic side of what they do, and it doesn't feel like it was just put in there to just be put in there. I think it really works with the melody and the overall feeling of the song, and it doesn't really take away from that. So really enjoy Above My Head. I think it's one of the catchier songs off the record, without a doubt. So we're gonna move it into track number 8, which is Martyr Waves. This one, I like the parallel or the kind of call back to Dust Today, which was off of their 2017 record, The Mortal Coil. I think it kind of parallels it in certain ways, maybe not in a lyrical stance, but I think sonically it feels feels very much like a continuation or like kind of like a follow-up to that. But I really enjoyed this song. When I first listened to it, I was absolutely blown away by not only just kind of the arrangement of the song. I think the strings and the kind of orchestral elements are really well put together, but I think the really main big focal point is Jake's vocals. I think he really starts the song off in this kind of like lower timbre, and just has a sort of like soft vibe to it, and then he just really builds to this like powerful note in that first section of the chorus, and he just delivered, I think, emotionally and power wise was also on the same level. It was really incredible to see his performance on this song. Again, one of those standout tracks off of this record without a doubt, and I think that Jamie does an excellent job of kind of not taking over the spotlight, but accentuating what Jake does. His screams really, deliver a lot more power to what Jake does. Not to say that Jake didn't have some great cleans, as I've been literally praising him for like the last minute, but I think that Jamie really kind of adds that another like emotional depth to the track that I think would have been missed if he was kind of left off. Nice little solo from Ryan at around the 2 minutes and 30-second mark to around the 3 minutes and 10-second mark, but I just have to say this one's one of the most powerful tracks that they've written. Just really well executed, really emotionally and musically beautiful, and definitely it's my favorite by far. There are some that come close, but every time Martyr comes on, I'm just absolutely floored by that one. So we're gonna move into track number 9, which is All of This Is Fleeting. This one is also just a really well executed track. I will go ahead and say that probably the last 3 are the best 3 off the record. Without a doubt, I think they really combine a lot of the elements of what you know and love about Polaris, but also kind of keeping it fresh and unique. But getting back to track number 9, I think this really kind of pulls from a lot of different elements off of this record in the best way possible. There's some really beautiful melodic moments, but there's also a lot of great heavy moments that get in your face, and I really enjoyed that. Some great melodies from not only Jake, but also Jamie, and I also love the chorus in this track. I think my favorite part will have to be between the 2 minutes and 37-second mark to around the 3 minutes and 8. That just hits. Like I don't know how they get so creative with breakdowns, because it is just so well executed, and I think it really works with the kind of melodic aspects of what this song is, but also just with the heavier elements. Just the counterbalance of those two is just super well put, well executed, and I think it's well structured out. So we're gonna move into the last track number 10, which is The Descent. This is a heavy and powerful closer. I think this one might be about as close to my love of Martyrs that I could possibly be without taking it over. But this one is just so nuts, so nuts. Like, I love Jamie's screaming. I think the energy they brought in this track and what he brought is just next level. I think Jake did a great job of the clean singing, but I think there's just so much energy to it, and I think that they really took a lot of great elements, as I mentioned, in All of This Is Fleeting. I think they took a lot of great elements of what this record has done, and I think they really kind of like tooled it to just be a really beefy, nasty song, but also in the same respect being beautiful and just melodic and well arranged. But I think this one really shows off Jamie's screaming ability and his range as a vocalist, from doing those really high kind of like fry screams to those real low kind of like in your face, like you know what you're getting. And I think it is just phenomenal. Probably one of my favorite portions of the song is around the 1 minute and 55-second mark to around the 2 minutes and 15-second mark. Just really well done, and just that ending, oof, that hits. Like, when people listen to that ending, I will be very surprised if people are not hyped on that, because they just dropped the bomb. And I think it's kind of very similar to what they did with another song off of this record. I think they kind of changed it up. They maybe did a little bit of drop tuning or something like that. They just really just knocked it out of the park with this record. So some pros and cons. I think vocally to instrumentals to everything, I think they really executed it super well. There were some songs that they were a little bit more creative with, more songs like Vagabond, I would say The Descent, I'd say Martyrs, All of This Is Fleeting. Those are ones that I feel like they experimented a lot with. I'd even say Masochist in some aspects, but I think the latter half of the record is really well done. Generally, I think the whole record is just well done, but I think the stronger half, if I had to say, I would say the latter half is, but you really can't go wrong with it. It's catchy, it's melodic, it's heavy. I think it's everything that I've love in current metalcore now, and I think that they are just peaking super well. And I hope that they just climb a little bit higher, because honestly, I up to this point, I had been still listening to the Mortal Coil, and I feel like this is a good replacement for a little bit. And I know that they're going to have a lot of stiff competition for Album of the Year this year, but man, this one, I had to do it, and I had to review it because it was just one of those standout records this year. I really don't have any cons about it. I like I had mentioned previously, I felt like even back in 2016, they had just a lot of potential, and I still feel like they have so much potential, and you should really be keeping an eye out for this band. So Polaris, I'm going to be giving Polaris's The Death of Me a rating of a 9.7 out of 10. Absolutely Album of the Year contender. I know we're only in February, but I think they just killed it on this record. There's really nothing else I can write home about. I think Loathe is the only record that they're gonna have a fight to the death with, because man, it's gonna be tough to beat that record. But overall, really enjoyed it from front to back. It's out now on Sharp Tones, so please go pick it up, go support these dudes. They work their asses off, and they're a fantastic live band, so if you haven't seen them yet, go do so. Definitely, hopefully sooner than later. But let me know in the comments what you think about the record. If you agree with me, if you disagree, I'd love to know your opinions on it. I always have some really good conversations. I had somebody talk about some shit about Dealer. They're a fantastic band from Australia as well, and I just feel like the Australian scene is really killing it right now. So keep an eye out for Polaris. Definitely a band to keep in the back of your mind, and hopefully wherever you live that they'll be hitting your city very soon. But if you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, share it. It goes an absolute long way. Again, thank you to Atom Splitter PR and Secret Service for sending this record over early. It is absolutely and greatly appreciated. Thank you for such a great opportunity, and again, thank you for continuing to work with me. So like I said, my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com, and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.